I felt in my soul, deep within, what I
He
felt.
had an awakening, ladies and gentlemen.
What I felt. Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Two Latin Brothers podcast, the comedy podcast where we talk about entertainment and our day-to-day lives, brought to you as a day-by-day comedy. I'm Victor.
And I'm Adrian.
And we're back at it again with another episode of the podcast. And to be honest with you, there's quite a few things we could talk about. For one, we watched a 3-hour movie. We did.
Right. We
went.
We did, in fact. Sorry, I feel like this is a little low. We did, in fact, do that. I feel like... Oh, okay. Why don't we start with our weeks for starters?
Our weeks?
Yeah.
Well, my week has been like any other week. I've been doing school stuff. I'm finally planning on telling people about this.
Right. Okay. For those who are listening to this for the first time, and if you are one of those people, you now know about this because enough time has passed now where you should know. He's been kind of keeping this on the down low, as we say.
I totally have been keeping this on
he hasn't been
low.
telling people he goes to college with at all about the podcast and what we do on YouTube and just our lives in general. Really, it's completely alluded to them, and they don't understand why I would casually show up and like be like, "Hey, take the camera with me," and you'd be like, "Yeah, here's the camera," and it was like, I need the video files on the camera.
Yeah.
But it was stuff like that where people just completely alluded to it. Which I think is kind of funny, but at the same time, it's also kind of interesting because we've actually had one of your classmates on already.
So there's a selected few
Who know
that know, but the rest of the class has no idea that I take time out of my life
to do this. Right? Because you don't seem like the hobbyist.
Well, not really. See, what some people think is I get home. Well, people don't even know what I do. I just show up.
So you're like an NPC. You only interact when you're near them.
And I wouldn't say that either. Maybe with some people. Maybe with a majority of people. There's a select few. Again, there's a select few of whom I don't really talk to outside of class.
He doesn't talk to people, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we've concluded.
But this is something I've been doing for a while. And if you're someone who I've just told... and this is the episode you're checking out, welcome to the show, I guess. Yeah, welcome to the show. This is what I do sometimes.
Every week.
Every week. Don't go to season 1. The seasons aren't following a story. There's nothing to it. It's just my brother and I conversing.
About whatever we want. And sometimes we'll throw out some life advice.
Bringing you some form of entertainment with the base level of psychology that I have and he has, and the weirdness that is our lives.
I mean, our lives are pretty basic sometimes.
Oh yeah, they're super basic, but somehow we still show up, talk about life, get through
it. It's not like we're living a crazy life, but I mean, we do live. I mean, when we were vlogging. Like the past summer, it was pretty chaotic.
Honestly,
it was pretty chaotic.
We were doing so much, and there was so much we should have been recording, and we didn't.
But there were times where we would go somewhere, and I'm like, I just want to enjoy it.
Yeah,
like I don't want to be worried about filming or stuff. There was a few times we went somewhere to see flowers. Where did we go to do that? And we were just taking pictures with the camera. We weren't actually filming.
Oh yeah, we went to a farm.
Yeah, and like that was nice though.
Yeah,
like because that was just like a moment where we were like just kind of like enjoying nature and being
just being
very
in the moment for
with
once.
it. But it was like it was very nice. It was like just not having to worry about.
Anyways,
content.
Welcome to the show. There's other things that we do here. If this is your first time as a viewer, even if you're not a classmate, I guess.
Yeah.
We have various different things.
They're gonna go through it all, right?
I expect someone to go see 14-year-old me in season 1.
Well, they won't see it; they'll hear it.
Well, yeah. someone's gonna go all the way back and be like, oh my
Right.
gosh, Victor.
Yeah, and some of those don't even have plays on YouTube because like I just uploaded them like
Yeah,
incognito.
we're on Spotify, believe it or not. We're shifting gears into YouTube,
Yep.
as we have been since last year,
Yeah.
but we're finally pushing a little bit more.
Yeah, we haven't been pushing this. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah,
So my week,
your week.
because my week has been. I feel like this week. I feel like
Mm.
I've done a lot,
Uh-huh.
but I've been sitting in that chair over there, so I haven't really. It's like I've done a lot this week, and I've tried to cram certain things in, and like just working on more video ideas and other stuff, and
Mhm.
like trying to up the ante, as they say.
Up the ante.
Up the ante. But I just feel like I've been doing a lot, but I've been in the same spot
Yeah.
for like the whole week, so like I feel like I haven't moved.
Yeah.
So like, what is it? Yesterday I clocked in a total of like I think 130 steps.
Wow.
I barely moved yesterday.
Wow.
That's like, cause that's the thing. Like I'm just like
My average is way higher than that.
I know. So like, but that's what I'm getting at. Like if I'm in my spot, if I'm in my zone, and you know how I am. Like once I enter,
I've done just over 4,400 steps
just today.
just today.
Well, because you're in the college and you're running
Yeah.
around and you have to go to classes.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, in my case, like,
I mean, I only had one class.
right. But what I'm getting at is like, you know me, when I'm in the zone,
Yeah.
like I don't exist to the rest of the world. Like,
I mean, yeah.
I don't even check my phone.
Sometimes.
I mean, like that's how like that's how much focus I have sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I'm doing a specific task,
Mm-hmm.
I know that if I need to focus on it, I know the next 5 hours of my life are just like gone. Like they're gone. Like there's no returning.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, other than that, I mean, it's been a good week.
Yeah. It's been a decent week. It's been a week.
Yeah.
Once again. Just as last week.
I mean, there's always like, I don't know. I feel like with every week that goes on,
Mm-hmm.
like there's the little things, right? Like
Yeah.
on Tuesday, I went for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, this is a good story. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you all know, I guess at this point, I play a lot of Minecraft.
Well, some may not know.
Some may not know, but I play a lot of Minecraft. So
Yeah.
that's what's up. Anyway, so I play on the server with a bunch of people and stuff, which I plan to tell them actually, because they don't
Okay.
know. So I plan to tell them.
Okay.
But
So as you tell, I tell.
yeah.
Okay.
Right. So if you're listening to this and you're from that server, you know what's up. So someone who's also from Canada,
Mm-hmm.
they're from the East Coast.
Okay.
So I mean from the West Coast.
Okay.
from the East
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we're on the East there,
Yeah, yeah.
So the other end of Canada. So on the other side of Canada, it doesn't typically snow a lot. They get
Mhm.
rain and whatever, because it's warmer over there. Because they're right above California. But in our case, it's like we get a lot of snow and a lot of weather.
Mm-hmm.
And so one guy on the server was like, "It's snowing. Like what's going on?" And
It's
then
like, what's going on here?
yeah, and then I showed you. I took a picture because I was walking
Yeah.
on Tuesday. I took the picture of like the sidewalks. Like you can't even see them because there's so much snow piled up
Yeah.
on them. And like, I sent that, and and it's just like it became like this whole thing where it's like the comparison of like what it's like what I'm going through, and you're freaking out that it's slightly snowing.
Yeah.
Which I think is an interesting dynamic to have
Mm-hmm.
because like people are like in different areas, and then we have people who are in the States who like they're like in Ohio, or they're like like I think there's someone from Florida, so they don't even know what
Oh,
I'm talking.
yeah,
When we talk
okay.
about snow, they're like, I don't know.
I don't know what is that.
Right? So it's like, but it's interesting to see those dynamics play out,
Mhm.
and then like the weather conversion.
Oh yeah.
So like
Yeah.
someone, we talk about it so much. Someone already figured out how to do it in their head.
Wow.
So like
That's I've met a few of those people.
we're like
They
get
just
really
hear the digit and they're like, yeah, I know what that is.
yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
it's kind of funny because
Quick
like they'll be.
maths.
It's kind of interesting because like when it comes to Fahrenheit,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds way worse than what it is in Celsius.
Oh yeah.
Because they'll be like, oh yeah.
I don't know why, but I feel like Fahrenheit is like the drama queen of temperature.
You know
what I mean?
I mean, I wouldn't know. I mean, but I was explaining how like in Canada,
Yeah.
and this is something interesting actually. A lot of people don't know. In Canada, we do temperature in Celsius,
Yeah.
but we cook in Fahrenheit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why? I guess all our stoves are American. I don't actually know why.
I don't ask those types of questions. Moving on to the Avatar.
'Cause you want to talk about it.
I want to talk about the Way of Water.
Okay. Well.
So
Wait. I just think we should preface. I think you should say how you felt about it, and I'll say how I felt about it, and then we'll get into like deeper things.
okay. I felt in my soul, deep within, what I
He
felt.
had an awakening, ladies and gentlemen.
What I felt was a long movie
Yeah.
that I almost fell asleep in.
Right.
And on a scale of 1 to 10,
Yeah.
I give it an 8.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Your turn.
Okay. So, mind you, we both went to see the same film.
Oh, yeah, because, I went to go see The Way of Water while he watched The Plane. No, yeah.
I went to go see Top Gun again. No. I watched a film that did not feel that long.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed it.
Uh-huh.
And like there were obviously moments in the film, like certain little things, but I give it an 8.4.
An 8.4?
Yeah.
Why not 0.5? That's like middle ground.
Well, because I explained to you why. It's the same rating I gave it last time when we talked about it the first time.
Okay, but
okay, well,
let the audience know.
I'll explain that, but like,
Yeah.
okay, why did you almost fall asleep in the film?
Why did I almost fall asleep?
Yeah.
Well, it's not really like... The movie was good enough to watch once.
Right.
I wouldn't go back to the theaters and watch it again.
For sure, yeah.
Scenery, beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Okay, no.
As to be expected.
We need to
as
talk
be
about
expected.
that. Like, that
Yeah.
just needs to be talked about.
Yeah. Just as expected. I expected it to be beautiful as portrayed in the first one.
It's almost crazy to think that that's like
CGI?
no,
Yeah.
because some of it wasn't CGI.
Yeah, it's AI
Like
generated.
the CGI is because some of it actually was like practical effects.
Uh-huh.
So like we've gotten to a point now where CGI is so good, it's just real. It's just
What?
real life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, which is crazy to me and just the fact that like certain parts of it, you're like, man, this is like we had this discussion after we watched it where
Mhm.
there are moments in the movie where like the character's underwater and they're learning to hold their breath.
Yeah.
And you were laughing because I was doing the breathing exercises with them, and I was
Yeah.
like, why am I like I catch myself.
You truly immersed in the movie.
Yeah, I actually felt like completely immersed,
Yeah.
which is I found interesting.
I
'Cause
felt very away. I felt okay. There was moments where I was immersed.
yeah,
Like I was in there. I was watching the movie.
Yeah.
My eyes were locked in.
yeah,
And then I'd wake up and I'd be like, there's a theater. There's a ceiling. There's floor. What is this?
why is there
Colonel
popcorn on the floor?
That
Well,
was
yeah.
me throughout the movie. I mean,
Right.
some of the plot, like the storyline could have been better
Right, yeah.
for the budget.
Like I can agree with that.
Yeah. There was events that occurred
Right, because we don't want to spoil it.
that weren't necessary.
Right.
And there were like for the scenery, I guess.
Right.
Like I appreciate the scenery.
So
Honestly,
this is-
I'm giving it an 8. If I took away all the good CGI,
yeah.
just all of it, and then just broke it down to read it as a book,
Yeah.
not as a book.
Yeah.
Like let's say it was a comic,
Right.
one singular comic, one issue.
Right.
I could literally cram it in a single comic book.
Right.
The entire
okay,
issue.
so look, here's the thing. The rating so I think one of the big drivers of the rating
Mhm.
for this film is just the sheer scale and beauty of it. Like visually, I don't think I've ever seen a film that pretty.
Yeah.
Like, cause I mean, certain things like the scale and all, like it just. I don't even think there are words to describe. Like,
I mean, it was pretty, but like once you get past the pretty,
okay, look, so
that's it.
So I don't know what it is about the night shots.
Okay.
Because there's like luminescence and like the detailings and like certain things in there.
You kind of have that idea though from the first one though.
Right, but I think what made it more pretty or like eye-catching was that it was
neon lights.
no, it was that it was underwater,
Yeah.
right? Because it wasn't overdone.
Yeah.
It was just like subtle enough for you to be like, oh,
that could be real.
yeah,
That could
like
be real.
I could see that happen, right? Especially because it's like underwater, right?
Yeah.
It's like I see that happening.
They did enough.
It's like that's probably a real fish over there. You know, like it was one of those things where like you'd catch yourself being like, that's probably real.
Yeah. I mean, there was moments. It got to a point where I'm like, okay, this isn't being too real.
Yeah.
And then they did something which I approved of.
Yeah.
That like it's kind of sad, but like at the same time, I kind of
It
approved
made it
of.
real.
Yeah. To make it more real.
Well, okay, so here's
But I also predicted one of the crazy events. Actually, I predicted like 3 events in the movie when they just got to the way of water.
yeah, I mean like because it's like it's very interesting, and I mean, and some of those panning shots,
Yeah.
like those are like really pretty scenic shots.
Yeah.
Whereas like honestly, like those should be thrown into like a highlight reel.
I guess.
You know what I mean? Like, because
Yeah.
they were like really pretty. It's crazy to me that film has gotten to a point where we can do that now.
Yeah. And it was like, since like they have like different skin tone, it was easy to distinct the characters were truly following when they were all in
right.
group.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
And like the time jump is crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's like when the movie starts, it's like a 15-year time jump.
Mm-hmm.
And then like within like the first 10 minutes of the, not even like the first 7 minutes, there's another year.
Yeah.
So it's like 16 years into the view.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's a lot of like time jumping and stuff. So it's like, ooh, that's cool. But I did like certain aspects of the film where they like, just the way that they portray the clans and how like they work.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think it's interesting that, and this isn't really a spoiler, the entire film you're rooting for the enemy.
What do you mean?
Because like you're rooting for the people of Pandora. You're rooting for the aliens.
Okay.
And
but we've always known humans are idiots.
no, I know, right? But no, I know,
So,
but
like, I don't know what you're getting at.
But you get what I mean, like, because like from the human perspective, right? The entire film, you're rooting for the enemy.
I guess so.
Yeah, right. So it's like it was that interesting like dynamic, I think.
Well, like, but what do you truly consider enemy? Humanity?
Right? No.
Is that
no.
what you mean?
No. I mean like because humanity is invading this planet, right? Humans show up, they land. As a human, you root for humans. But the entire film, you're not rooting for the humans.
Okay.
You're rooting for the opposite side.
I watch movies all the time where I'm rooting for humans and not humans.
Well, okay, but I mean, like in most cases, you're like you're like if it's a human conflict, you know that's kind of like that's internal, that's not external. But externally, it's like shouldn't I?
Like
you know?
honestly, like, I don't care though. What's race?
Wow, what a guy! Just what is species is the question.
Yeah, honestly.
Right? Like it's I don't know. I think it's interesting. But I just found that very interesting. Like after I saw the film, I'm like, I walked out of there and I was like, I just spent a whole.
You almost feel disgust with humans a little bit.
Yeah, because like I walk out of the film like the whole time, really. And there's not like a single moment like.
And then you realize, well, not that you really realize, but more awareness to human aggression towards nature.
Right.
Just for the sake of benefit.
I mean, because we've always been, like, humanity's always been like that.
Yeah.
Like, we don't care what it takes.
Yeah.
If I can make monies,
yeah.
I'm going to get it done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I can make the monies, I'm going to get it done.
I mean, technically, you're not wrong by saying monies, because in the case of, like, the movie,
yeah,
it's different currency.
Right.
So, like, monies is, like, correct. That's
but,
interesting.
I
Anyways.
mean, in the sense of just, like, a lot. Like,
yeah.
I just don't know. Like,
yeah,
I
know,
I couldn't find the term.
I mean, that was, you should have just said money, but you said monies, which is not wrong in a sense.
Because it's plural.
Yes. See, because like, if you're talking about an abundance.
Okay, whoa, we're not getting into this. We're not getting into this.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
That's the way of water, honestly.
But we'll be right back after this short commercial break.
This podcast is brought to you in part by Two Latin Brothers Podcast. You thought there wouldn't be a commercial, but there is. So make sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll see you guys right now.
We are back.
We're back, no longer talking about Pandora and moving on to TV shows and entertainment.
Okay.
Well, further entertainment.
Okay, so I know what I want to talk about. I don't know if you want to talk about something, but I know what I want to talk about.
Okay.
Okay, so we recently started watching a show on Amazon Prime called, I'm about to say the wrong name because it captured.
The Captured.
And I almost called it something else.
Yeah.
That show is, there are parts of that show. We're almost done season 2. Like, we just like.
Season 2?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, season 2.
We're almost done season 2.
Yeah.
It is by far some of the scariest stuff. Because it's like about AI and like what AI does with like deep fakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah,
if AI ever gets to this point,
I mean,
like,
technically you could do it manually, but it's not to that. Technically you can already kind of do what they said in the show.
Yeah.
It just take way, way longer to like execute.
Right, but I mean, but what I'm getting at is that would be terrifying.
Yeah.
Like on the scale that they do it that they portray in the show.
Yeah.
Terrifying stuff. Like I would be scared.
Yeah.
To film myself, like it's crazy. Considering the fact that there are hundreds of hours of me.
And for those who don't know what The Captured is,
yeah, The
Captured is basically a show where CCTV is normally used for day-to-day, like crime, persecution. So pretty much you can't change CCTV.
Right, because it's like a live capturing of like street cameras, mall cameras, all that stuff.
So you can't really edit that video since it's live.
Right.
It goes straight to tape and that's it.
Right.
But the whole point of The Captured is that governments have been using this to persecute terrorists and stuff like that, like real criminals. Right. When there isn't enough supplied evidence.
When they can't find enough evidence to persecute, they basically make it.
Yeah.
And that's the whole premise of the show. And
it's freaky. It's freaky because we could easily get to that point.
But it really makes you question a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, man,
because it also like just the fact. Wow, I don't know where I was going with that. My brain just totally broke.
Just shut off.
Yeah. Just the idea of how many cameras there are on the streets.
Right.
As you walk.
Right.
And you don't realize.
Yeah.
That's what's got me like, I wonder how many tapes I'm on and I'm not aware.
Well, okay, so I remember I told someone, because before when I'd go to school, depending on which route I take, I'd take the bus to one mall, caught on the camera bus.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd probably get caught by a few shops like the bank one,
mm-hmm.
and whatever. And then I'd go to the bus station, jump on the bus, get captured by that camera. Mm-hmm. That bus takes me to a mall. I'd walk through the mall, mm-hmm. get caught by all those cameras, mm-hmm. jump on the train, mm-hmm. get off at another mall, mm-hmm. go all the way up to the top mm-hmm. of through the mall to another bus station, mm-hmm. jump on that bus, mm-hmm. and that bus would take me all the way to the school, or to college. Get to the college, get off the bus, walk through the college. And I have to walk from one end of the college to the other end. So I'm getting caught by every camera in every hallway. Yeah. So a prof of mine, he was like, so you're getting caught, you're being caught on camera maybe 200 times. Like on an average day.
Yeah, because just walking through the mall alone.
Right. Because I have to go through 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, because stores have their cameras set up for entrances.
Right.
To see the person enter.
Right.
And that you can also capture the hallway.
Right.
So if you walked close to a store, you were probably captured not only by the mall security,
right,
but the store security.
Right.
So
it's like it was a lot of cameras, and I remember I can't remember we were having this conversation because we were talking about networks, mm-hmm. like and things we never think about, like camera networks. Mm-hmm. And I remember that when I said this out loud, some guy goes, "Dude, like, you can't commit a crime." You know what I'm saying? Like, you're caught. Like, they'll catch you.
Yeah, you're found.
Yeah. It was funny because I'm like, if they keep record of all that footage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then someday they run it through like facial recognition. They'd catch me like hundreds of thousands of times.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's
like that one time I got lost in the mall, just walking in circles.
Yeah, see, that's what I think of whenever I'm lost. I always picture this one guy in like a room full of screens,
laughing at you,
just chuckling like, huh,
yeah.
This guy has no idea.
Okay, you know where I get lost a lot?
Where?
The East End Mall.
Okay.
The one where our sister used to work.
Yeah.
That one, man. I every time I walk in there.
Yeah.
I don't know where anything is because like I only go there like once every 2 years maybe. It's like every time I walk in there, I get lost. I don't know what's going on.
Well, our sister was working there. You'd go more.
Yeah, but like,
besides that,
yeah,
I can't remember the last time. Actually, the last time we went was winter 2 years ago.
See what I'm saying? Like, it's because I never go there, and like, and that place has like a lot of turnover with shops.
Yeah.
So like the stores,
the structure of the mall
changes.
I remember the first time we went back.
Yeah.
We hadn't gone back since our sister had worked there. And we were just like, okay,
yeah,
this is a different mall.
Yeah.
we went through the motions. We're like, yep, don't know what that store is. Don't know what this store is. And you realize how much stores cycle through an area.
Right.
Yeah. So much merchandise.
It was interesting though, right? And that's what I was getting at. Like, it's easy to get lost in there because like, if you're looking for a shop you thought was there, but then they just removed it.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, okay, great. And so like, I can't even find what I'm looking for anymore.
Yeah.
Why is it still on Google?
Yeah, I know. That's what I hate.
Yeah.
After COVID, a lot of stores updated their hours for COVID.
Change their hours.
Well, yeah. Well, I'd say updated.
Okay, sure.
Their hours just, for the change of COVID.
Right.
And some of them haven't changed it back.
Right.
And some of them never changed it.
Right.
From COVID, but now have new hours but haven't updated the website.
Right, yeah.
So now I can go to a store. Well,
Yeah.
this isn't with every place.
Yeah.
But now I can go to a store.
Yeah.
And the store is closed, but it says it's still open.
On Google.
Or I can go to a store and it's closed. Wait, isn't that what I just said?
Yeah.
Yeah. The other way around. Backwards.
Yeah, I can
go to a store, it's open, but the
closed,
website
but it's
says
open.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's very confusing and very perplexing, but at the same time, I'm not going to complain because, like,
my brain is having a hard time processing right now. I am genuinely slow.
He's tired, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, all the people in my class know I'm tired. Because I actually told a few people recently that's like the college default answer. Hey, how you doing? Tired.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Tired.
what? How are you feeling? Tired. How you been? Tired. What you been up to? Sleeping.
Tired.
How'd you wake up? Tired. Why'd you go to sleep?
I slept 13 hours. How you feel? Tired.
Because I think it's funny that you can sleep. Like, if you oversleep, your body gets tired of sleep.
Yeah, you get exhausted.
How dumb is that? Like,
I'm mentally exhausted from sleep.
What kind of logic is this? Like, where if you oversleep, you're tired.
There was one point where I'd lay down and I'd tell you, bro,
yeah.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, you're tired of what? Of being tired.
And I'd be like, okay, well, there's nothing I can do about that.
Yeah. Just have those like little moments of where I'm like, I'm having a little crisis.
Right.
I'm tired of being tired.
But then I have the other issue where you're so tired you can't sleep.
That happens a little too often.
I don't like when that happens because like you get because I think if you prolong sleep long enough, you get to that point where like you're so tired, there's just no point in sleeping anymore. It's like you're just better off staying awake.
Yeah, there's moments where you're like, okay, I didn't sleep.
Yeah. But
the sun's kind of rising.
Yeah.
So what's the point?
Like, it's happened to us a few times, especially like over the holidays.
Yeah.
Where like we'll be up, especially like the whole fan will be up, right? And it's like 3-4 in the morning, and we're like, should we go to like?
See, when I'm on a break or it's like the weekend, like a Saturday night, okay, like maybe I'll do that.
Yeah.
But if I'm still in school,
right,
and I have to go to school the next day,
yeah,
I am not doing that. I'm still gonna cram in that 1 hour, even if it's just 1 hour.
Right.
I'm gonna get that sleep.
Right.
Yeah, and I have friends who don't choose to do that.
Right.
They're like, you know what? the sun's coming up anyways. Got to be up in 2 hours. Might as well just stay up the whole day.
I had instances like that when I was in college. Remember this one time I had this assignment I had to finish, and it was like a paper I had to write, and I had to submit it in person. And I was like getting it done, and then right when I was about to hit print, I realized that half of my sources were somehow deleted.
Yeah.
And I couldn't for the life of me remember what they all were. So I had to go through my history, and then I had to reread my 15-page paper and find which sources were missing. And then I had to go and find them again.
Yeah, see, here's one thing.
So that burned a lot of time. And then by the time I was done doing that, it was like, I think it was like 5 a.m, and I had to get up at 7.
Yeah.
Like, there's 2 hours left. And then I remember I'm like closing my laptop because I just hit print. And our father is walking down the stairs, and he's like, did you go to bed, and are you like getting up to like print or something?
Yeah.
Like, no, I haven't slept yet. And he's like, you should probably go to sleep. I'm like, I know, but I have to get up in like an hour and a half. And he's like, try to sleep. And he like makes himself breakfast or whatever. Yeah. And he says try to sleep. And then he sits at the table and we're talking. Like, and then he leaves to go to work. And then I'm like, yeah, there's no point now. Come down, shower, get ready, leave.
Yeah. See,
and then like
I have moments like that.
Yeah.
Too. I've had those kinds of experiences.
For sure.
But I've also had nights where I'm scrolling. You know how sometimes, because we're Latino,
right?
You have moments where you run into the like Spanish trap,
right?
Of like social media,
right?
So there was one time in high school, I was watching just like Spanish content,
right?
Consistently,
right?
My brain was thinking Spanish,
right? And
then I'm like, okay, I should get back to work. I was writing a presentation,
yeah,
and I barely know how to write in Spanish. Okay.
Right.
My last 2 slides, in Spanish, I blew myself away.
You were like, how did I do this?
Because the little Enya was on top of the N, and I was just like,
I don't even know how to do that.
I'm like, I don't even know how to do that on my keyboard. I'm like, but clearly, like, basically asleep me did.
Yeah. They sell keyboards now with it.
Yeah, I know. But I was just blown away because I don't even know how to do that now. Well, I know how to do it on my phone keyboard, but I don't know how to. Well, I kind of do.
You just change it to Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, but like, I just unlike Word or whatever, I'll open up like the symbols and then just scroll to it, copy it, and just whenever I need it, paste.
Paste? Yeah, that's what I do. I write the symbol, like for example, when I'm writing a weird name with the 2 dots on top of it,
right?
Or like the little thing under the S when it's for French and stuff.
Yeah.
I just draw the symbol on my trackpad.
Yeah.
And then I just copy it, and if I know I'm gonna repeat the name, or I just copy the name in general, and then just paste it when I'm writing it.
Right. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's odd. Like, especially when it comes to symbols and stuff. Like, I think about that all the time. But I think we have, especially when it comes to like the multi-language thing.
Oh yeah.
It's a mess. Like, especially when we're talking to like family.
Yeah.
Okay. So when our cousin came, which our cousin came to visit us in August of last year. I was gonna say this year, but it was last year. We're already in February, bro. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
We in February we were she came to visit us. I realized how much English we spoke amongst each other.
Oh yeah.
It was super apparent. And then suddenly I'm like, maybe I should talk more Spanish.
Yeah. See, my issue is I need to be talking more Spanish. Once I get my brain locked in thinking Spanish, I can converse in Spanish, no problem at all.
Right.
But if I just try to throw myself into it, my brain can't come up with the next word. Yeah, I'm losing like my practice.
Right.
And I need to start practicing more.
Yeah, like we have a friend where they don't speak that much Spanish. And we were like hanging out with like a bunch of us, and we were doing some activity, and then this one girl came over, and she speaks Italian, and she's French, and she speaks a little bit of English, but she mainly speaks Spanish. And so I'm talking to her in Spanish, and we're just like, because we were all talking in English, and I like on a flip of a hat, I just jump into Spanish, and I'm like talking with her and her brother, and we're like, hey, whatever. And then this kid comes over, and he's like, puts his hand on my shoulder, he's like, you speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Like there's no doubt. He's like, there's no doubt in my mind. You
Yeah,
speak
see,
Spanish.
because a lot of people think since we were born here
Right.
that we don't speak Spanish.
Right.
But then you're like, no, I can talk Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I've had those instances where I've been in situations, especially when I was like working in the immigration sector.
Yeah.
Sector. I said sector.
Yeah.
In the immigration sector, you run into a lot of Latinos who are like, so when did you get here?
Yeah.
It's always the when did you get here?
Yeah. Because
like,
never
they're
like, who taught you?
Right, yeah, no, I had this one lady from I think she's from Guatemala.
Mm-hmm.
She was convinced I wasn't born here. She's like, I don't believe you. You're lying to me. I'm like, no, I'm serious. I wasn't born here. Like I was born here. Like, and she's like, you weren't born here. I don't believe you.
Mm.
And then I'm like, if I had my birth certificate, I'd show you, but I don't have it on. Like, I don't carry that on me. And so, and then my boss walks over. She's like, what's going on? I'm like, she doesn't believe that I was born here. And she goes, he's from here.
Yeah.
and she goes, how do you know? She's like, cause I do. Like,
Yeah.
I believe him. And then she goes, why? It's like, cause like, you know, he said he's born here, so I believe him.
See, like, that's the thing, too. Linguistic habits.
Right.
You stutter in English.
Yeah.
Because when somebody stutters who's an immigrant, they stutter with the,
Yeah.
it's an E, not a U.
Yeah.
And you can tell that distinction. And some people have different sounds. Like, just the sound of someone thinking is different depending on the language that they speak.
Right.
And that comes through.
Right.
Even after years.
For sure. Like, I've noticed that when I'm talking in Spanish.
Yeah.
And then when I'm talking in English and I switch to Spanish,
Mm-hmm.
I'll trip over my words.
Yeah.
Because Spanish, you say a lot more words than in English when you're describing things. So
I feel like there's more description words in Spanish.
There's more describing.
Yeah.
I
also just the fact of like how to tell someone you love them.
Right. There's like all these options.
There's layers to how you can say it.
There's like 7 different options, and in English it's like, I love you, you know?
Or we like to use the alliteration. I like you. You. You know what I mean?
I like you.
Yeah.
You know, and I always find that interesting. But that's like the context, like especially between the like teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
That's how like they talk to each other.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting because we don't have the right vocabulary.
Yeah.
I was having this conversation with someone actually, and they were saying how that's just a lack of vocabulary. I'm like, how would you say it? I'm interested in you. I have a deep regard for you.
Yeah.
I have a crush on you.
I have great care for you.
Right, but I'm like, who in the world walks up to another person and says like, what are we, like from the 1900s? Like this is like, this isn't the, you know. And one of the other things too is that when you're trying to like convey, I have never walked up to somebody and been like, I got a crush on you. Like I've never done that.
Yeah, same.
I've never done that. And I've never had somebody do that to me.
Yeah. No.
Right. So
I've
like,
had people walk up to me and be like, I like you.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
But never have I ever. This is turning into a never have I ever game now. Never have I ever had someone walk up to me and be like, I like you.
Or the shot glasses. No, it's one of those. It's definitely one of those things.
Don't tell people that because they're gonna think I drink when I've clearly stated I don't.
It's a watch react one day. It's a good bit. You'll understand. Yeah. But we definitely have you know, that situation where language kind of lacks certain things, and that's why especially in language, every year so they'll add new words to the language. Yeah. Like I think in English every year they add like 10 to 15 words every year. Yeah.
And because there's always something else.
Right.
Not that I'm gonna use the word.
Right.
Because let's be real here. On a daily basis, the words I use, depending on the area of which I'm in,
right,
varies. I probably only use 1,400 words.
Right. Like on a given, like an average day, yeah.
Like an average day.
Right, I can get behind that, yeah.
Probably only like a couple thousand. No,
well, because
not a couple thousand, like 1,400. But I think that's a good number.
Well, I mean, it could be like 800.
It could be 800, depending on how good my vocabulary is.
Right, like I like for sure. Like I know when I was in programming, I was using way more than that because there's a lot of technical words and like.
See, but here's the thing.
But that's because of the area I'm in, right? Like that's
No. Even then, you probably still are only using 1,000 and something words, and here's why.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's different terminology from a day-to-day person, but it's repetition.
Right.
You're using that word consistently.
Imagine
Not that
doctors.
you're using a new word every so often.
Right. But imagine doctors, right? Like, like learning.
See, a doctor I can see saying more than 1,000 words in a day.
Right, because like there's wherever they are, like if they're a surgeon,
yeah,
they're
instantly hitting the books saying a new word.
Right, like
or not really a new word.
Just like doctor trying to sound it out, chunk.
That doesn't work. I can guarantee you.
'Cause it's not even in English.
It's Latin or Greek.
Yeah, right. So it's like there's all these like different barriers, but I think it's interesting that,
like for example,
but we have these things in language, right? And going back to the Spanish thing, in Spanish, we have multiple layers to say things and different ways to say the same thing, right? But one of the things in Spanish that because people say like, why would you have so many ways of saying the same thing? Like, what makes a difference in Spanish? Like what? I'm like, the tone of voice. In Spanish, the tone of voice plays a very big part.
Oh yeah,
because I find that in Spanish, like when you're especially when if you're a guy, right, talking to a female, like your voice is a lot more tender and more, like if you have some sort of affection towards that person, your voice is like more tender, more kind.
See, that's why people think Spanish is a sexy language,
right? And
because we changed the tonality,
right,
depending on
who we're talking to,
right. So, like, if I'm talking to an elderly person, I'm gonna my respect,
right,
a tone of respect,
right.
If you're talking to a pretty girl, you're obviously gonna be talking in a more, I want to say, charismatic tone,
right,
to like portray yourself. Not even to portray yourself, just like as a sign, like if that makes any sense,
right? Yeah,
and that's the thing too.
I think in English.
That kind of thing of tone crossing over to English.
Right.
That happens, and I can see it happening.
But in English, the problem with it, I have found, is that, because in Spanish, right, you have multiple ways of saying things based on your tone of the way you said it makes a big difference, right? So, but if I, for example, in English, if I say something and like if I'm being serious, it could be taken as sarcastic.
Yeah.
Right? So that there is like, it's kind of like a gray area where like it's open to like interpretation.
Yeah. See, because now we can go deep into like enunciation.
Okay, bro.
So
we don't got the
if
time
you
for that.
elongate a tone inside of a word, is how you distinct whether or not it's sarcasm.
Right.
And in some languages, you can just say it.
Yeah.
Without having to do that.
Right.
And
for sure.
You just know it's sarcasm.
Yeah.
No way.
I don't know. Sometimes you just know, right?
That's
just know.
Crazy.
Sometimes you just know, ladies and gentlemen. Like I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
We're gonna
wrap it up here.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Honestly, guys, this wasn't the best episode, but it was an episode, and it's a good teaser, taste, trailer, feature.
There's that
for
feature.
your life.
For your life.
Exactly. So we're gonna wrap it up. So make sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification, check out our Instagram, check out our Twitter, check out our TikTok. Even though we haven't really posted there, you can still follow it. If you're new here, make sure to leave a comment down below letting us know what you would like us to talk about, or just say hi, Victor, because you know me, because why not? That's a fun thing.
If you know me.
Share with everybody and everything you physically can. Share with your chinchilla, your raccoon, your donkey, your Pikachu. I don't care who you share with. Just keep us as your ambient noise in the background. Just click copy the link. That still helps the algorithm, guys. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Bye.